Here is what's new in Rayforge 1.3. The last release, 1.2, is actually less than a week ago, but surprisingly much has changed, and there was one bug with a newer version of GTK that affected more and more platforms. So I thought it important to release 1.3 quickly anyway. So what's new? First of all, the bug that was fixed is that on newer versions of GTK, the icons no longer worked. So if you tried 1.2 and didn't have any icons, or most of them were gone, then this is the issue that is now fixed. There are also plenty of new features. Among others, the sketcher has been improved. So let me show you how. The line tool was removed. It's replaced by the path tool. And that is to create polylines or lines and beziers. Let me show you how. Basically, I tried to replicate the behavior of Inkscape. So you click, you see a line, and then I click again, then the next line starts and so on. But I can also click drag, which will turn this into beziers. So you can make curves here. And then I can do that and continue that. I can connect to other points as well. You will see that the point here highlights. If I click then editing stops, or I can just right click and choose another tool, so editing stops here as well. And of course you can apply constraints to these as to everything else as well. So if I select this line, for example, and press H, then this becomes horizontal. Additional tools were added. For example, if I drag this here and then press Shift, then now this is constrained in one direction, either horizontal or vertical relative to the starting position. The double click to select all feature was added. So hold Shift and then double click a line, and then the entire path will be selected. All connected geometry. So if I have a rectangle here right next to it, and then I select it with double click, then only the rectangle lines will be selected. And of course the same here, selecting all this. Another thing you can do with the paths that you created is you can edit them in post. So let's say you want to make this edge here smooth, then you can choose smooth, which will change this, and this will stay smooth no matter how you change it. You can also make it symmetric this way, then both handles will move symmetrically, or you can change it to a sharp edge again, and then if I drag something, they move independently again. You can also make this straight again by right clicking and then selecting straighten. A new grid tool was also added. If you right click and select grid or press G followed by G, then you can choose how many rows and columns. Let's go with the default 3 and 3. You see you have 3 columns each. By default, it's created as construction geometry, so you can connect other geometry to it, but you can also convert it to real geometry here. Next, 2 new buttons were added to the toolbar here. First one is to toggle on or off the constraints. So see, constraints are disappearing. And the second one is to toggle on or off construction geometry. You can see what this does. The whole sketcher was moved to an add-on. So if you go into the settings under add-ons, now you can disable the whole sketcher add-on, which will remove all sketch-related features from the app. And of course, you can re-enable it here as well. The G-code viewer now also has a small new feature. Here you see the number of lines and the size. And when previously the G-code was larger than 20,000 lines, nothing was shown here anymore, just a message that the file was too large. Now it always shows at least the first 20,000 lines. The AI workpiece generator now outputs sketches and no longer just workpieces. This has the advantage that you can then manually edit the geometry that was generated with AI. So if you create something here, let's say a star, then here you see the generated workpiece and you can double click it and it's completely editable. And a minor change is that the jog button layout here has changed. It was made a little bit more compact. Next, the G-code output was optimized. So previously you saw in every G1 line every coordinate X, Y, and Z. Now the G-code only includes the coordinates that actually changed. This makes the output much smaller. Some more improvements were added to the raster engraving operations. The sample interval was added here. So this is similar to the line spacing. The line spacing says what is the distance between these horizontal lines, horizontal depending on the angle that you set. And the sample interval is how many steps in each line do you want to have. So every 0.1 millimeters in this case. So this is the resolution of the raster scanning. You can decrease this for better quality, or you can increase it for smaller file size. What was also added was the power levels here. If you have a grayscale image or a color image, then this is used as a step to simplify the image by reducing the number of colors. This has again the advantage of making the files much smaller. If you use fewer colors, then the lines with the same power level get longer. So reducing this reduces file size.